Hello friends, welcome back to the Citizen Geek channel. I, as always, am your host, Matty G, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the new CBS television series, Supergirl. Now, I know when I started this channel, I put out a video saying that I was going to keep up on a bunch of different TV series and kind of review episodes and things like that. I know I haven't done that yet, I apologize. Sorry about that. Things kind of got away from me. But I'm going to try to do that more now. I'm going to try to catch up on some of these shows. And I thought Supergirl would be a really good place to start. Because obviously it's a very superhero, geeky-centered show. And also because it's newer. It just started. It's only been on for 2 episodes. So now's a pretty good time to jump in and really talk about it. I'm a really big fan of female superheroes. Kind of always have been. In this new era that we're in of superhero movies and superheroes being all the rage, it's been really disappointing that we haven't seen a lot of really strong female superhero related TV shows and movies and things yet. I mean, this Supergirl show is really kind of the first one. Obviously, we're going to be getting Marvel's Jessica Jones later this month, so that'll be another one. And, you know, aside from Black Widow and the Avengers movies, we really haven't gotten that much when it comes to female superheroes. So a lot is riding on the Supergirl TV series. You know, it has to be more than just successful and good. It has to prove that people working in TV right now know how to handle a female superhero. This is going to be a show that a lot of young girls are going to watch, you know, not just people like me. And that's going to mean something to them, you know. So let's talk about the show. We've only had 2 episodes so far, the pilot episode and then the second episode, which is called Stronger Together. Overall, so far, I've really enjoyed it. I like the tone that they're going for. In the first 2 episodes that they've shown so far, it really feels like the creators have focused on maintaining a real sense of fun around the show, which is nice. When it comes to TV superheroes, it's tended to veer toward the darker and grittier side and more serious side. So the lightheartedness of Supergirl is kind of refreshing. The strength of the show thus far has unquestionably been the lead actress, Melissa Benoist. She has done such a great job bringing that character to life and making her fun and sympathetic and somebody that you want to root for and that you really like and that you really enjoy following. You know, she's charming, she's funny, obviously she's beautiful, and she's really shown so far that she's been able to anchor both the lighthearted fun side and the more serious emotional side. And there's definitely an emotional side to this show. Supergirl, aka Kara Zor-El, is different from her cousin, you know, Superman. She remembers Krypton. She didn't leave when she was a baby like Kal-El did. If she was a child, and, you know, she had to leave her parents behind and everything she knew behind. And that gives her a real sense of loss that she has to deal with and not knowing her place in the world, even more so than her cousin did, you know, Superman, Kal-El. When he came here, he was a baby. Growing up, as much as he learned about Krypton, he didn't really know what he had lost. You know, he didn't really remember anything of what his previous life had been. But Kara does, and that affects her majorly. We don't see that too much so far in the beginning of the series, but they've brought it up a little bit, and I definitely think as the series goes along, it's something they'll reference a lot more, especially if they continue the relationship between her and her aunt, Astra. So far the show has done a really good job building up the relationships between Kara and the other characters. The relationship between her and Jimmy Olsen is really interesting and definitely different than what we've seen in previous versions of Superman, but I like where they're going with that. You know, obviously they teased a possible romance maybe down the road. I think it'll be a while before they get there or do anything like that. But what they've set up so far, the kind of mentor relationship between her and him, it's an interesting take on the character. And so far, I think it's worked really well. They've also done some nice work setting up Kara's other relationships, the ones between her and her other friend and other potential love interest, Wynn Scott. I really hope that they don't turn that into kind of a weird love triangle thing. But so far the show has seemed like pretty good about kind of handling those characters and the relationship between them and putting them on the same team. So I think they're going to do something more interesting with that. I hope they do, but I think that's going to be the case. The relationships between her employer, Kat, played by Calista Flockhart, and her sister, Alex, have also been good so far, you know. The special effects have also been surprisingly good so far. Some of them have been better than others, but for a network TV show, I've been pretty impressed with what they've shown us so far. You it's not easy to make a character look like they're actually flying, especially on a network budget. But so far, I think they've done a good job with that. I especially like the opening sequence of episode 2, where Kara's like flying through the desert and they're shooting a bunch of missiles at her and stuff like that as kind of a test. I was really impressed by that. It was fun and it looked good. So far they've done a good job with that. The show's definitely still working out a few kinks. There are a couple weak points that hopefully will be addressed as the series goes on. One of them is the government agency that Kara and her sister have been working with so far. It just hasn't really been that interesting. They haven't really delved too deep into that yet. That tends to be where we get most of the exposition for the show, and exposition is rarely ever fun to watch. So then the stuff in there, it just hasn't been that exciting yet. Hopefully that'll pick up. There's some stuff that they teased at the end of the second episode that will hopefully maybe make that a little more interesting down the road. The other low point so far has been the villains. Obviously they just started, so they probably don't want to shoot their load immediately when it comes to bringing out the big hitters, but just what they've given us so far have been pretty standard, kind of run-of-the-mill, Z-grade bad guys. The notable exception has been the introduction of Kara's aunt, Astra, who is, interestingly enough, a twin of her mother. And I'll just say right now that I was really happy they didn't try to play some storyline where she pretended to be Kara's real mother. I really thought that's the road they were going down. And so when they didn't do that, and when Kara immediately recognized it was her aunt, I was very happy about that. The show so far has set her up as kind of what seems to be the big bad, kind of, at least for the first few episodes. But they did at the end of the second episode tease the idea that according to her, she says she's here to save the world. Not really sure exactly what she means by that yet, so there might be a bit more to her than meets the eye. It'll be curious to see how they play that out. Hopefully they'll kind of build that up and do it in a more interesting way than just introducing kind of more random prisoners from Fort Roz. But I guess we'll see. Speaking of which, and kind of feeding into that, they also showed at the end of the episode that Hank Henshaw, the leader of the government agency that they've been working for, apparently is also some kind of a superpowered character. They just showed he has red eyes. So there's a chance maybe that's going to play into it. Maybe it's going to turn out he's actually a villain, or they know each other. There's something going on there. They've developed a nice little world around Kara and a nice set of supporting players for her to interact with and deal with. And one of the things that I really like about Supergirl so far is that Kara does not want to go it alone. She very much wants to do this as a team and have people there on her side helping her and making her stronger. So many of the modern superhero plot lines in movies and television seem to be the idea of the rogue loner, the person who, just wants to go it alone and wants to push everybody away because they're worried that they're going to get hurt or that they're going to slow them down. And it's always about them kind of finally having to open up and understand that they need other people's help. So I'm really enjoying the fact that they're going the completely different route with that in regards to Supergirl so far. That they're going with the idea that she knows that having people on her side and having a team to help her makes her stronger. I like that. I think that's a smart way to take this storyline, and so that makes me even more excited to keep watching, knowing that they're kind of gonna keep building on those themes and those storylines. So yeah, guys, overall, so far, I think Supergirl's off to a pretty super start. I really like it, and I hope you guys do too. It's nice to see a really good, strong, female-driven superhero narrative, and I hope we have more. I think we should have more. I think it's really disappointing that we don't yet, but I think Supergirl's a good start. And with this and, Jessica Jones coming out soon, hopefully we're finally starting to see a change in that. Have you watched Supergirl so far? Are you enjoying it? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Are there any other female superhero characters out there that you would like to see adapted to movies or television, or that you think would be able to anchor a series the way that Supergirl's doing right now? Thanks, guys, very much for watching as always. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy what I do. Take care, and I will see you again real soon.